Okay, so why would men from the 1700s pick a word that had been out, say, for only half a millennia before them, before their time, and say that this is the word that they're going to use to describe or define the act of humbling oneself before the Creator and petitioning something from the Creator. Okay, to pray, spelled almost the same way as a bird of prey or as a predator's prey. Okay, we're only switching one letter around. That's the A and the E dynamic. Again, we've talked about that a number of times. And they're said, they're pronounced the same way. This was because there was someone who wanted to indicate that there are predators who want you to believe that to pray will make you pray. Now, who wanted to indicate that? And what was the intent? Was the intent to indicate that to you and I as believers so that we can look out for this secret cabal? No. When you know the true meaning of the word emotion or energy, coincidence, different words that we've looked at, resentment, we know the meanings of those words despite the efforts of the powers that be to keep us blinded and bound, spellbound by the spell of spelling. When we find out the meanings of these words, it's against their intent. The things that are hidden in those words are not things that you and I are supposed to reveal. Those things that are hidden in those words are things that are revealed to initiates, to members of secret societies who are being brought in, and they're being shown the secret control that their organization has on the world all around them. So then words like these are selected and shown to them, and the true meaning is shown to them, and they're like, oh wow, so these are the people who really have the truth. That's what that's for. It's not for us to look at these words, break them down, and liberate ourselves. We're not initiates. We're not supposed to know this. So when we see something in these words, it is against the will of those who put the words together that we're deciphering them, that we're discovering them and uncovering them. Okay? So what we see is an attempt by the powers that be to demean the act of prayer by calling it by the same name as pray. That's what that is. So it didn't bother me like I thought it would. Okay, now how am I going to explain that away? Because again, it's taking everything into context. What are they trying to say by encrypting another meaning in something? What are they trying to say? See? And so, you don't just see what you see. Okay, we see the word pray and pray is the same thing. Then we have to go into, okay, so what are they trying to say with that? You get it? I know you do. So that's a way to low-key to diss the powerful and real power of prayer. And I suggest that you all get into your prayer power. Get into it. Utilize it. Use it in the world around you. Okay, so you're not ready, you don't feel to cast out devils and demons and to heal, because it's one and the same. Well, you are ready, but at the very least, practice by praying for other people. It doesn't cost you anything but time to pray for other people. You know a neighbor that's wild. You know, you know someone that the Holy Spirit has really put on your mind for you to intercede in prayer for. So please do that. Do that for your fellow brothers and sisters. Okay. Well, I had another lesson here. We're just going to run through it. We're going to run through it because people want to argue about their diet. They want to argue about what is meant by the scripture of the dream. I believe it was the dream. I used to always say the dream of Paul, but it must have been the dream of Peter. Yeah, and the vision of Peter. And people would use that to justify eating chipmunks and giraffes and mountain lions and everything else. Okay, because it's part of lust and greed, lust of the flesh. Your mouth and your tongue is flesh. Your mouth and your tongue loves the things of this world. Okay, it don't matter what orifice it is that got you out of control. Have mercy. It's still part of your flesh. Control your whole. So we've been taught that good eating is lobster, shrimp, crab's legs. When the Red Lobster commercials come on, some of y'all get closer to the TV. Escargot, caviar. Some of y'all don't know what caviar is. I'm going to tell you. Some of you do. But think about all of those things that you hear rich folk clamoring over. This is good eating. Even where folks is not necessarily rich, but there is a strong sense of heritage. So your heritage will keep certain ancestral demons around your bloodline because you're not letting go of things. You've mixed the laws and the traditions. But for some folks, there is a heritage of eating a bug that they will call a fish out of ignorance, ignoring the fact that it looked like a bug and it does not look like a fish. And it's even called a crawl fish, which over time got degraded to crawfish. And it's interesting to me that in a place where it's not uncommon to hear of people, common folks, being acquainted with black craft, I think it's quite interesting that it is a delicacy from this place. People call Las Vegas Sin City. And on a certain level I see that. But to all my beloved folks from Louisiana, you know, New Orleans is a place where people come and let the evil spirits that they've been housing roam free, and then they leave y'all city. And I think that's not a good thing, because I think the spirits stick around. But in every culture, there are dishes like this that can be found. You know, some people still throw some chitlins down, put some hot sauce on them and all of that. And back when I was eating swine, when I didn't mind and I didn't know no better when I was a kid, I remember tasting chitlins every holiday because everybody was going so crazy over them. I said, maybe it's something I'm not doing right. and I would try them again the next holiday. And I just couldn't get with the consistency of it. It wasn't like meat. It didn't tear up. It was like just chewing something rubbery. But this is considered a delicacy. So now, what are delicacies? Why is Red Lobster considered a status restaurant? It's a place that serves bottom feeders, the insects of the sea, things that are scooped up, things that fishermen originally threw back, but that are scooped up from the bottom of the sea, and really are in abundance. Though they'll lie and tell us different. Insects are plenteous, but these things are in abundance, so there's no reason to charge a high price for them, except for the reason I'm going to tell you. These things were all created by the fallen. The fallen angels in the book of Jasher, which I guess we'll be looking into that book next. But in the book of Jasher, the fallen angels, and it's also evidenced in the book of Enoch and in Genesis, that the fallen angels not only tampered with mankind, or with human beings, or with people, they also tampered with plant life, and they tampered with the animals. And when we say tampered, we understand that their thing was about messing up the genetic perfection that had been laid down by the Most High true and living. Their attempt to mess it up, of course, because they're not creators. They were only destroyers and able to make sloppy, lesser copies. So they made these lesser beings, all of these animals that don't have nutritional value, or that were relegated to being garbage pails, bottom feeders, clean up the bottom of the ocean. They eat things that were shredded up by other real fish and predators. Fish swim, they have fins and gills. These are bottom feeding, like insects, beings who are designed like insects to get up the crumbs. Even the pig is designed to eat up the garbage. Now, don't throw at me is not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, because then you're taking the words of my Lord out of context, and I will have to take you to task, because I'm going to tell you, you're taking that out of context because you understand what he was saying. He was saying that these imposters representing the priests of the Lord had gotten people so mechanically brainwashed into thinking that, well, as long as I don't eat this, I'm holy and saved. Okay, but then those same people are verbally abusive or say blasphemous things out of their mouths. So he was showing that, no, y'all got this backward. There's a particular thing that you're doing that I'm going to give you this parable to put the spotlight on that thing that you're doing so you can stop doing that. Not so that, oh, well, you can eat whatever you want to eat. But no, know that your diet alone don't make you holy. Nothing of your flesh alone makes you holy. Your bloodline don't make you holy, nor does your skin color. Believe it. It's about your spirit. Do you serve? Is your intention? The road to hell is paved with the greatest of those. But is your intention and your desire and your effort to serve the Father? Who is my mother and who is my brother but those that do the will of my Father? So that was what Matthew 15 and 11 and Mark 7 and 15 was about. Not saying that, well, you go ahead and eat whatever you want to eat. That's ludicrous. Don't you know that there's a puff of fish right now that if it's not prepared properly and you eat it, it'll kill you? So it won't just defile your body, it'll take your body straight up out of here. Same thing with most of the things that people consider delicacies. These things is things that doctors, by and large, but see, doctors get a little extra kickback too, not to say certain things. But doctors understand what medical difficulties can come from a person eating meat, period, let alone pork and beef. Okay, the difficulty that the body has in digesting those things, the effect that they have on your cholesterol and on your blood pressure. But again, will it send you straight to the pit to eat it? Well, no, but the wages of sin is death. Anything that you continue to do that degrades the body is part of your taking part in the destruction of your own temple, which is called suicide. Don't play no games. You know, you're going to do something, or you're trying to battle doing something, say it's wrong first. Until you can say that, you ain't got no help coming. As long as you justify it. Don't justify it. You're not supposed to tear up your temple. I don't care how you view it, what your perspective is of it. Go on and eat a mouse. There may be some people, sometimes, some situations, where that's all it is for them to eat. And they ain't got no choice but to eat a mouse. Okay? But the Lord made it clear He don't want you to eat no mices. Was that in Isaiah? Talking about how His people be hiding behind the tree and whatnot, eating the abomination and the mouse. What's going on?